I'm curious. Did you watch the LCK earlier today?
I didn't.
The
I did
match.
not, unfortunately.
It was the matchup between what was it? Kingzone versus Condu Monsters, I think. Actually, we're getting into pick and bans. Let's talk about this first.
Yeah, we'll get back to that later. But
Yeah.
first bans coming out from both sides of the teams. Sejuani from Flash Wolves definitely targeting Gemini as they know that Sejuani is a really strong tank jungle that scales into the late game. And comfort pick for Gemini. Zoe being banned away from Maple as he was one of the first mid laners to bring it out and absolutely killed it in his first debut game against Team Afro. Camille being the second ban for Flash Wolves.
Yep. And Hong Kong Attitude uh, removes its Zoe from Maple. Definitely a very annoying champion to play against. And the top catch ban. Now we don't normally see Tom Ken's banned, but I can understand it. Tom Ken does have a really high priority right now alongside the Brawl. Um, and on the side of Flash Wolves, Vladimir is banned away.
Kind of interesting that Flash Wolves is actually respecting Ryrus with these top lane bans, because I would imagine after seeing all of his performances so far this split that you wouldn't even have considered it as an afterthought. But maybe Hanabi is also a little shy, or not shy, but a little inexperienced with carry top laners. They might want to pinch it so they have a priority on the Ornn pick, and that, potentially, if the only top laner picks available cannot even punish Ornn that hard. But they're actually going to go with the Ezreal first pick for Betty. Kalista is still up if Unified wants to try and match that early pressure or snowball potential.
Yep, game playing is actually also up right now, but I do think that Hong Kong Attitude might be a little hesitant in picking the gameplay. It looks like Kalista is locked in for Unified. And gameplay again, gameplay is still up, but Hong Kong Attitude might be a little hesitant in blind picking the gameplay for Riders because Nar is up still, and Ornn is still up, and I feel like Riders might not be comfortable with some of those matchups, and Rise is locked in.
The Rise being taken away from Maple for gear here, but Malzahar is still up if they're looking for kind of quote-unquote S-tier mid laners. Other than that, the only other mid laners that we've seen being able to compete with the likes of Rise, we've seen decent Galio performances both in LMS and all around the world. We've also seen stuff like the Talia that
The
you enjoy.
Cassiopeia.
Cassiopeia, yeah, I completely forgot about the Cassiopeia. Very strong counter pick against Gear. So we'll see if Maple is going to go ahead and lock it in here, or if they're going to try and go for. Actually, they're going to think about getting the Cos export movement before it potentially gets banned away in the second phase. And all right, so got one more pick here from Hong Kong before we get into the second phase of bans here. Do they go for their support? And looks like the Shen will be locked in. Now, we've normally seen Shen as support, but it always could be flexed to the top lane if they want to make sure that Ryrus is on a quote-unquote safe tank player. We'll see what happens though in this next pick ban phase.
And it looks like Hong Kong Attitude might focus the rest of their bans on the mid lane, and their second ban should be the Malzahar, unless they're looking to push Maple onto the Malzahar, and they have some kind of strategy specifically aimed at beating the Malzahar. And on the side of Flash Wolves, Gnar was banned away, so no counter pick for Riders against the Gangplank, hopefully.
I would imagine that if they really want to put Ryrus in an uncomfortable position, they have to ban Ornn in for their second ban, just so that
Yep, I
he can
agree.
have like a strong tank matchup. And actually, the Braum being the second ban here, so the Malzahar will still be left open for Flash Wolves if Maple wants to go to that champion with strong pick potential. At level 6, you have a lot of kill pressure onto mid lane with the Kha'Zix, unless Gear is able to pull off a stopwatch roam more. But you can always push in your lane and try to roam with the Kha'Zix. I mean, another grasping anyone and then having a bug being able to just tear and shred you to pieces is pretty potent for kill pressure.
Yep, and looks like Jax is locked in as the jungler for Hong Kong Attitude. Now, honestly, it could be flex to the top lane because I do think that in the Jax gameplay matchup, if Jax gets ahead, Gangplank has a really hard time staying alive. Simply because Jax just does so much damage. But it looks like Malzahar is locked in for Maple.
Looks like Sardar will be looking at one of his personal favorites, the Taric, the Dazzle Man himself. Using that Cosmic Radiance will be vital and we've actually seen kind of this combination of the Taric and Kha'Zix, almost similar to how you would pair the Shen and the Kha'Zix together to give him that extra durability. There's no way. No way. Oh my god, the Riven pick for Ryrus? Wow, this is...
Tabe has so much faith in Rise.
Yo, no kidding. Maybe that dub kind of gave him like an epiphany. It's like, alright, Master Tabe, I figured it out. I'm gonna just spam Riven and solo queue, and I'm gonna smash Hanabi with this pick. But that is so bold. I guess I have to check Ryrus' like past records, but to consistently go for these strong counter, like for carry top laners, it says to me that Ryrus is supposedly a carry top laner, and maybe he's just had a bad switch so far. But I mean, if there's one way to get redemption for yourself, it's definitely going to be on a flashy pick like this Riven here.
Yep, looking forward to this matchup. And I feel like if Ryrus still doesn't perform on this Riven pick, that spells trouble for Hong Kong Attitude as a whole, I think. Well, but to be fair, they are up against Flash Wolves, so honestly, I don't blame them if they do lose the series. But we'll see how the matchup goes in the top lane.
Indeed.
And looking at the team compositions, Flash Wolves actually doesn't have any tanky members. Their only source of semi-tankiness actually comes from the Taric with the Cosmic Radiance. So I feel like if they do get behind, if they do fall behind, especially in the early game, it might be a little hard for them to contest vision, especially around neutral objectives. So hopefully they don't get unlucky, but we'll see how this matchup goes.
One of the things we'll have to look at is, like you said, that top lane is going to be very volatile between Hanabi and Ryrus, because one of the things about that has made Riven so successful, or I guess the concept behind a successful Riven, is using the Unsealed Spellbook, which allows Riven to basically relive her glory days of Season 2, Season 3, being able to take that Ignite early on the top lane for the kill pressure, and especially against the Gangplank, where even though you have the Q harass level 1, once Riven hits level 2, level 3, she has so much mobility between her Broken Wings, her Valor Shield, and being able to gap close onto an immobile champion like the Gangplank and basically burst you down before you have a chance to react.
Yep, but I do want to see Moonjin try to play around the top lane, especially in the early game, because that matchup is so volatile. Again, both junglers are actually going to start boss side. And a pretty good lead from both bot laners.
Yeah. Pretty standard stuff from both junglers coming out on the Flash Wolves and Hong Kong Attitude side. One of the things that we did talk about, or that you mentioned, Chairman, that is important for Flash Wolves is that if they don't get ahead, like you said, there really isn't any tankiness onto the form of Flash Wolves. And if you look on Hong Kong Attitudes, you have the Shen support who is going to be building full tank, and then you have Gemini who we've seen on all pretty much all the Jax picks that we've seen so far in the LMS and around the world has basically just been building full Cinder Hulk. Only occasionally you'll see a Trinity Force come out if the Jax is really popping off, but with two basically very aggressive tanks diving onto the back line. And if they're ahead, there's really not much that Flash Wolves can do other than a well-timed Cosmic Radiance from Sword Art.
Yep. So it looks like Mugen will actually be doing a full clear on his Kazakhs. And in the meantime, Gemini is visiting the top lane already.
He's not going to be able to find Mugen there, but he will see that all of his camps have been cleared. Wait, what just happened? Betty just got first blood on the bot side of the map? Wait.
What?
There is... Flash is still up from Unified, and Ignite was burned by Kaiwing Heal from Unified as well. Ignite was burned from Sword Art, but no Sum's burned from Betty. It just... You have... I mean, I guess we have to see a replay to truly see what happened, but you have to wonder what is... Did Unified, like, look away from his screen? Let's... Yeah, even the LMS casters are like, what in the world is happening? So now we get the replay, and Unified is just actually just taking a lot of auto harass, and oh my
Oh.
oh, that's just poorly played from Unified. Didn't even... When you're half health at that point and you see the Dazzle come out, you cannot just burn the heal and expect to live. You have to flash away from the Dazzle. You have to respect that all in. Betty was already in an aggressive position, autoing you to pieces, and so that's just poor play coming from Unified here.
Seems like your mic or your internet is you sound like a robot.
Oh,
Well, now it's better. Now
okay.
it's good.
All right.
But let's see, Gemini actually visiting the top lane.
Yeah, Hanabi's...
Hanabi might be in trouble here.
Yeah, Hanabi is not looking too good. Ignite from Ryrus will eventually take him down and secure that first kill onto the Riven here. So the snowball has begun for Ryrus. It's now up to him to see if he can continue the momentum here, because if he's not able to continue the momentum on this Riven, then this Riven pick is not really that useful, but he has the kill now, so we'll see what kind of items he's able to get on his first back.
Yep. But going back to the bot lane, as a Callista, getting first blooded against Ezreal, and Carrick, who the laning phase isn't that good, to be honest. Especially the Carrick Dazzle, because it's so telegraphed. As Callisto, with your Callisto passive, um, you shouldn't be getting hit by the Tarek Dazzles.
Yeah, indeed. Just little misplay from Unified there. Seems like, to be honest, but hopefully Hong Kong Attitude are able to... Actually, Ryrus is taking a lot of damage from Hanabi. What is... the Valor Shield is not going to be enough, though. Oh, he's able to actually time the stun and flash away from safety, but Ryrus getting a little greedy there in the all-ins. I mean, yes, Ryrus on this Riven has a better... for the most part, trade sequences against Hanabi, but he was still able to back away with the Sheen. So those damage trades are not always the most favorable. And with the Resolve being taken by Hanabi in the second portion of his runes, he's actually a lot tankier than you would expect. And it almost cost Ryrus' lead right there.
Yeah, that's flash burn by Ryrus. That's actually a really big deal because in the Riven versus Gangplank matchup, Riven should in theoretically, Riven should always have have the kill pressure on gameplay. That's the whole point of why Riven is a counterpick to gameplay. But with Flashburn, that's scary for riders, especially.
Hmm. And in fact, the Flash is not only important just because he's supposed to have kill pressure on the gangplank, but one of the ways you can punish the gangplank is having that extra flash, the chase. With all of the mobility tools, you can actually also catch the gangplank off by surprise by pairing that flash combo with your animation cancels, the Exile, Blade of the Exile coming out, and you can get some really cool, fancy combos off of that. But without the flash, you have to be careful in case Mugen ever plays a visit top lane, or even if Maple comes top lane, because now you don't have a QSS to stop the Nether Grasp, and so if he just walks up and QSs you after you've burned a lot of your mobility, you're a sitting duck.
Yep. And actually, both junglers actually traced blue buff. Muji, along with Maple, was able to get Hunger Attitude's blue buff, and Gear and Gemini was able to take Flash Wolf's blue buff. So blue buffs traded, and both junglers just going back to farming their jungle camps.
A tracker noise being picked up for both Mugen and Gemini as expected. I don't think there's really been any situation. I think there was one game where someone, I don't remember which jungler was popping off really early on, did go into the skirmisher sabers, but with the importance of vision and competitive play, there's no really reason not to go tracker's knife.
Yeah, and something else I want to point out is Betty's items. Actually, we've got a play coming in.
Yeah, Kai Wing, the Ignite coming down from Sword Art. We'll have to flash away to safety, but that is now a flash down on the Shen. And actually, with all four members here, they're going to be able to pressure. Maple getting a flash in, and Unified has to respect the Nethergrass kill potential. This should be the first brick for Flash Wolves if Gemini cannot defend this successfully, and he won't not be able to. Betty has actually already completed his Iceborne Gauntlet at 9 minutes. I believe that's what you're about to talk about, correct, Chairman?
I was going to talk about the fact that he doesn't have a tier.
Oh, you're right. Wow. So he just rushed Iceborne Gauntlet without the tier stacking. That's. Is that good? Is
I personally think it's terrible because you're not going to be able to help your Mana Mune complete it until it's already 10 minutes in. He just swapped the tier, and I feel like it's gonna take a while for him to have to finish Mirror Mana.
Mhm. We'll see if Betty's early compromise in purchase sets up for a better mid game, because that's the only really thing I can think of, because like you said, that does delay the Muramana power spike. But Mugen actually finds himself with Jax onto the top side of the river, but Sword Art is more focused on gear, so he's not going to be able to support Mugen as much. But Gemini still respects the collapse potential, leaps strikes away. And one thing that we've also been noticing is that it I don't know if you've been looking towards the top lane, but Ryrus has not been winning these trades against Hanabi, and this is really concerning. And now that Hanabi has purchased a Tabby boots, one of the things that does suck about even playing Riven, even with all of the unsealed spellbook changes to give herself more kill pressure, is she does not have a innate form of sustain in her kit. Usually that has been counteracted by purchasing an Early's Death Stance or Vamp Scepter, or even stacking a couple of Dorn's Blades in the beginning. But you got the early pressure from your jungler onto the gangplank, but then you burn the flash, and you're still losing these trades. So, I mean,
Honestly, especially after he gets the first blood, there's absolutely no reason for him to be losing any trades. Like sure, if it's a if top lane is just an island and it's purely a 1-on-1, then sure, the gameplay and Riven matchup if the enemy player is really, really good on the gameplay, it could be difficult for the Riven. But after getting first blood and jungle pressure, that's losing this matchup is inexcusable in my opinion.
Yeah, the only thing that Ryers has been able to boast is the CS lead, but the CS lead itself is slowly starting to dwindle as Hanabi is catching up. And even when you have a quote unquote CS lead against the Kleptomancy Gangplank, you actually never really do. The man puts out or gains so much gold just in harassing you with the parlay, Kleptoprocs, and exactly that's how Hanabi's been really playing this lane out. And the fact that he's still only 7 CS down with the supposed lead that Ryrus has had. Actually, Kaiwing is going to dive along with Ryrus onto the bot lane, but the turret dive is being botched. Kaiwing has to force the stopwatch to avoid damage. He's is so low. Oh my goodness, this is just looking even more terrible and terrible as this Riven pick is being played out.
Yeah, but in the meantime, Gemini was able to solo the Inferno Jag. So objectives traded because Mugen was able to pick up the Rift Herald. But overall, it's still a win for Flash Wolves because they were able to get the top tier one turret as well.
Yeah, a lot of objectives just being traded overall. And honestly, at least Hanabi's flash was burned in the engage under the tower. So Ryrus, with his with the secondary rune being into sorcery, most than likely he does have the ultimate hat, which will give him more uptime on the Blade of the Exile, which is really important for Riven for the all-in potential, as it gives you basically a bunch of bonus AD depending on how much AD you have. So basically, the more AD you build, the more AD you'll get once you pop it. Unfortunately, there's no kind of inception kind of stacking process where you just infinitely get a bunch of bonus AD. Otherwise, we would probably see Riven more often than we actually do see her at the moment. But
Yep, and Mugen actually taking the red buff away from Hong Kong Attitude, right below their eyes.
yeah, there was a moment where I thought that Gear was about to face check and get a face full of
Kazakhs.
a face full of Kazakhs. Yeah, there's no other way to put it. But Mugen was accompanied also by Maple, and it could even been more scary, but Mugen just elected for the Krugs, which is definitely always the safer option. You know, if you can't get a kill for sure, then always farm. Get yourself that guaranteed gold in minions and monsters. With the 4 members here, other than Hanabi, they're just pushing in this mid lane, and they should be able to get it, as there's really no kill threat from Unified. Hasn't even completed the Blade of the Ruined King yet on his side, whereas Betty has now finished the Manamune. But like you said, he didn't start stacking it early on, so he doesn't have access to the Moribana quite yet. Ryrus is actually does have the awards here. He pops the Blade of the Exile, will be able to chunk Mugen. Stopwatch is not going to save his life. And, oh, Ryrus actually got so greedy, tried to do the fadeaway step ignite, and Ryrus is able to get out after the collapse from Hanabi, and Sword Art comes in. But, oh, at least Ryrus was able to pick up the red buff from stealing it away from Mugen. But, oh, that's a feels bad for Ryrus. He definitely should have had that kill, but he wanted the style, get that fadeaway ignite. Cool guys don't look at explosions, but you know what also cool guys don't do?
Walking away from a kill.
Exactly.
Definitely a feels Batman for Riders there. Now, 15 minutes in, Flash Wolves is up 3k gold with their team composition, which I mentioned they can't really fall behind because they don't have a front line, but the 3k gold is a pretty sizable lead. And looking at the CS differentials, in the bot lane, Innofight is actually down almost 40 CS, 30 CS against Betty's Ezreal. And in my opinion, Kalista as a champion, she's really not that great in the mid to late game, and especially in the mid game team fights. A lot of times, simply because Ezreal has so much more range, Ezreal just outputs a lot more damage compared to the Callista.
Indeed. It's kind of one of those unfortunate things where you pick the early snowball that should have had a better lane matchup, and then we saw that blunder at the level 2 all in where he didn't even respect the dazzle and just thought he could get away with the heal and just died so fast. And really, the story has been from that early snowball, because without it, I don't think we would have had that early bot turret being taken down. And from there, Betty and Sorta have just been able to rotate all over the map so cleanly. They've been taking turrets all over the place in the mid lane. They might even be able to get this second mid-tier turret if Betty can just get one more auto, which he does.
The snowball is starting. It's starting for Flash Wolves, and this is. I don't want to say it, but it's worrying Chin.
Memes aside, this is really concerning for Hong Kong Attitude. They're losing a lot of structures on outside of their base. They're almost already getting pushed into the inhibitor turrets in the mid lane, and then with just only their top inner and bot inner turrets left, once those are taken down, Hong Kong Attitude, if Flash Wolves play the vision game correctly right, and with a player like Sword Art, I don't think that should be a hard thing to do. Muujin actually might be able to find Gemini, but the Counter-Strike is on, and actually Muujin is kind of away from teammates, so he's going to have to leap over the wall. Maple is going to have to burn Cleanse and Flash to get away from the snare from Rise. Realm Warp going to throw Kaiwing onto the forefront of the fight. Kaiwing might be able to look for a taunt, but here comes Ryrus, actually flashes in, but Cosmic Radiance is going to scuff the whole thing. Ryrus does go down, and now the counter engage comes out. Hanabi with the Cannon Barrage is actually going to help the team out a lot. Picks up 2 kills on the backside of that. Muujin will be trying to soul out Gear, but he doesn't have the cooldowns. He actually gets soloed by Gear, a little overstep by Muujin, while the rest of his team tried to go for Unified, and they were able to pick up that kill as well, but just a bunch of little micro misplays coming out from both teams, but overall Flash Wolves do get the better victory of that.
Yeah, and that was a 4-for-2 trade, and that everything started from Hong Kong Attitude, trying to pick off Maple, and really good flash from Maple there, flashing away from Kaiwing's taunt flash from on his shin. So looking at the replay here, Moonjin, great reaction by Gemini, channeling that Counter Strike early, and that reaction by Maple actually. They took way too long trying to chase Maple right here.
Even Betty was able to flash away from Ryrus, and once the Cosmic Radiance was up, that whole engage from Ryrus did get scuffed. But here's the funny thing, and Hanabi and the rest of the team went for Unified. Muujin tried to solo out Gear, but did not respect the overload and power damage from Rise at that point on. He did go Rod of Ages this time around, so does a little bit more damage than the normal Abyssal Mask would do at the mid-game point, but the overall victory was for Flash Wolves. They were able to translate those kills into a top inner turret, which gives them now even more access to the jungle on the top side of Hong Kong Attitude's side of the map. And if they play it right, they should be able to control the Baron now.
But I do feel like Ryrus isn't playing this Riven pick the correct way, because the point of the Riven is a counter to Gangplank, and I don't think you're ever supposed to group unless you know for a fact that you're so far ahead that you can just kill the entire enemy team. We actually see Flash Wolf starting the Baron here, and I don't think Hong Kong Attitude can contest this.
Yeah, Gemini is going to have to get real close and find a ward in there. Wow, Nethergrass is going to find it. Can he get the skill like Mountain did yesterday? No, he is not Mountain. He is a dead Jax. But now Ryrus is on the back line here. Maple and Betty have to kite this out. But meanwhile, Unified is getting sold out by Muujin. There's so much back and forth fighting going on. The Realm Warp from Gear says it's time to go. We lost the fight, but Kaiwing and Gear are still running for their lives. They don't have any turrets nearby for protection, and Gear is going to have to make some plays here. Maple with the flash silence. Gear is going to flash away, but the he's trying to get to Shen out, but there's nothing that he can do. This is just so sad to watch. He's just dancing around. Maple just taking his time, playing with his food. He's going to eat it too. That's a full ace coming out from Flash Wolves.
Yeah, and it's only 22 minutes into the game, and that's already an inhibitor gone. And I feel like Flash Wolves can actually end the game here, actually.
They could, but they decide not to. I think they're going to try to spice up their KDAs a little bit more. It is also the safer thing to do. You don't want to overextend a little too much, but this replay here, I almost had flashbacks to Mountain on the Jax game a couple days ago, being able to steal it, but he did unfortunately mistime the smite, and Mugen was able to secure it. So Ryrus went onto the backline trying to buy as much time as he could, which was an honorable attempt, but Unified, as you could see, just does no damage to Mugen at all. So there was just no way for Ryrus to actually make that trade work. And
Yeah, and at this point, betting on this Ezreal is just so strong with, I think, 2.5 items, with the finished Iceborne Gauntlet and the Mirror Mana. And after the Baron and 2 kills from Flash Wolves, everyone else from Hong Kong actually just couldn't run away.
yeah, well, so much for that 10-minute tier purchase, right? 2 control wards being placed on the bot side of the jungle just for the extra layer of protection and vision control from Sword Art and Mugen.
Yeah, and Betty actually has the completed Guardian Angel, 3rd item. Or wait, no, fourth item. He's already finished his Blade of the Ring King.
Yeah, Betty he's fed, as you said.
This Ezreal is. This Ezreal is. Who's gonna kill Ezreal?
No one really. I mean, you don't have. Ryrus is nowhere even strong enough to take down, a squishy target, let alone, an Ezreal with Iceborne Gauntlet and GA. Betty doesn't even have fully upgraded boots. Actually, Hanabi's going to get caught out. Ryrus being able to expend the flash. Using that stopwatch will buy some time, but here comes the Cosmic Radiance, and this spells trouble for Ryrus and crew. They're not going to be able to take them down. Kaiwing using the taunt to try and buy some time, but he's going to have to flash away to safety. Betty flies in with the Arcane Shift, chunking Unified and Kaiwing to almost a 10 portion of their health. The Nether Grasp is going to lock down Ryrus, and that is a sad death for Riven. And at 24 minutes, not even 25, Flash Wolves are going to be able to close out the first game of the series.
Yeah, complete destruction from Flash Wolves in that game. From the first blood by Betty onto Unified. Sure, Ryrus was able to return a kill onto Hannibal,